Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be cracking the code on what is, let's be honest, one of the toughest challenges in your entire GCSE journey. AQA English Language Paper 2, Writers' Viewpoints and Perspectives.
Now, I know it can feel like a massive mountain to climb, but don't worry, we've basically got the map. We're going to break it all down into these 6 key sections. Think of it as giving you all the tools you need to get to the summit feeling pretty confident.
Okay, so let's just dive right into it. What's the biggest hurdle with Paper 2? Well, it's that you're being asked to compare 2 texts you have literally never seen before, and a lot of the time, they're from completely different centuries.
I mean, this question really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? For instance, you might get a piece from a modern autobiography all about camping, and you have to compare it with, I don't know, a reflection on nature from 1878. It sounds kind of scary, but trust me, there is a system to this.
So these are really the main pressure points that students always talk about. You've got the clock ticking down, the complete surprise of the texts, and this demand to not just get what they're saying, but to actually compare and analyze how they're saying it, all while trying to build your own argument in the writing section. It's a lot.
Now, what's really interesting here, and this is super important, is that the exam is not actually trying to trick you. In fact, it gives you a checklist. It's called the Assessment Objectives, or AOs. So let's decode them, shall we?
The best way to think of it is like this. AO1 is all about what the writers are saying. You know, the facts, the ideas. AO2 is about how they say it, the language they choose, the way they structure their points. And AO3, which is the big one for this paper, is about comparing all of those ideas and methods across both of the texts. If you can master these 3 things, you've pretty much mastered the entire reading section.
So let's see how these objectives actually work in practice, and we'll start with question 2. This question is going to ask you for a summary of the differences between the 2 sources on a really specific topic.
The absolute key skill here is something called synthesis. Look, the examiners do not want 2 separate lists of points. What they want to see is you connecting the ideas from both texts, sort of weaving them together to show that you have a clear comparative understanding. It's all about saying things like, while source A shows this, source B presents a totally contrasting view by doing this.
Okay, here we go. This is the absolute heart of the paper. It's the steepest part of our climb. Question 4. This is the big comparison question, and it's worth a whopping 16 marks.
This is the kind of phrasing you're going to see. And you've got to notice the key words, how the writers convey. It's not just asking what they think. It's asking you to compare the methods the writers use to get those ideas across. This is where you bring in all that great analysis of language and structure.
Here is a clear, repeatable strategy that just works. First, you're going to break down exactly what the question wants you to compare. Then you go on a hunt for the best possible quotes from both texts. Next, and this is crucial, you explicitly compare the techniques they're using. Is one writer using metaphors while the other is using cold, hard statistics? And finally, you evaluate the effect. You explain the different impacts these methods have on you, the reader.
And this just brilliantly shows the difference. I mean, look, the level 2 answer, it's fine. It identifies different feelings. But now look at the level 4 response. It analyzes the complexity, the shift in those feelings. It perceptively evaluates how the writer's methods create that complexity, contrasting the mixed feelings in source A with the souring idealism in source B. That depth, that's what you're aiming for. It's night and day.
We've done it. We have reached the summit of the reading section. Now it's time for section B. And this is where you get to show off your own writing skills for a massive 40 marks.
So here's the deal. Your ideas and your structure are worth significantly more than just your spelling and punctuation. I mean, look at this chart. A massive 24 marks are for what you say and how you organize it. This is exactly why spending a few minutes planning your argument is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to get those top marks.
You know, a key part of hitting that top band for AO5 is adapting your tone, your style, and your register. The exam's going to ask you to write something like a speech, or a letter, or maybe a formal article. You absolutely have to match your language to that form. Think about it. A fiery speech is going to use rhetoric, while a formal letter needs polite, structured phrasing. It's all about context.
Okay, you have done the hard work, you've climbed the mountain. So now let's just put it all together into your winning strategy for exam day.
This is your final checklist. You have to keep those assessment objectives in your mind. They literally tell you exactly what the examiner is looking for.
Always analyze the writer's methods, not just their ideas. And when it comes to your own writing, please plan your structure before you start. This is exactly how you turn a massive challenge into a huge success.
Look, AQA Paper 2 isn't some impossible peak. It's a challenge, for sure, but it's one that tests very specific skills. With the right strategy and a really clear understanding of what's required, you have absolutely everything you need to succeed.